Welcome back, everyone. We're now on question 3 in our CKA hands on exam series. This question is all about the horizontal pod autoscaler, or HPA, one of the most practical and powerful features in Kubernetes. We're going to break it down, understand the concept, and then build the solution step by step right here inside Killer Coder. Remember, in your exam, every second counts, and HPA questions become very straightforward once you know the exact flags and structure. Let's get into it. The question read as: create a new horizontal pod autoscaler (HPA) named Apache Server in the Autoscale namespace. This HPA must target the existing deployment called Apache Server in the Autoscale namespace. Set the HPA to target for 50% CPU usage per pod. Configure HPA to have at min 1 pod and no more than 4 pods. Also, we have to set the downscale stabilization window to 30 seconds. Before we touch the terminal, let's break this down. The horizontal pod autoscaler automatically adjusts the number of pods in a deployment based on resource usage, most commonly CPU or memory. In this question, we are asked to create an HPA targeting 50% CPU usage, set minimum replicas to 1 and maximum to 4, and most important, configure a downscale stabilization window of 30 seconds. In simple terms, Kubernetes should not reduce replicas too quickly. This prevents flapping, instability, and unnecessary scaling. This stabilization configuration is part of the behavior field introduced in newer versions of Kubernetes, and you must know how to edit it for the CKA exam. All right, let's move into the hands-on section. For this lab, I'm using Killer Coder, but you can use Minikube, Kind, K3s, any cluster you're comfortable with. And like always, I generate the question environment using our custom script @root/setup_scenario_only.sh3. Check what's inside the namespace. kubectl-n autoscale get deploy. kubectl-n autoscale get pods. You'll see a deployment named Apache Server. This is the deployment we will attach our HPA to. Let's create the HPA with the required targets first. This is the fastest way to meet most of the requirements. But in this demo, I'm using the declarative way. In Killer Coder or your exam environment, vi and create the HPA YAML file. So now, rush to the Kubernetes doc and search for HPA. And again, I will repeat myself. You must know how to search for files, meaning you have to be familiar with this document. So let's click on Walkthrough Example. And here you will scroll down and find the HPA YAML file. Copy and paste in the HPA file we created with VI. Now we add the exam critical part, the downscale stabilization window. Go back to the K documentation and click back to the walkthrough page example. Scroll down and you will see the behavior field, which is the this stabilization configuration and is part of the behavior field introduced in newer versions of Kubernetes. And you must know how to edit it for the CKA exam. Kubernetes lets us control scaling behavior using the behavior section inside the HPA spec. The exam wants us to prevent fast downscaling, so we set a 30-second stabilization window. So now, let's edit the file. Make sure we copy and paste the names and also respect indentation. Save and quit. Then run the k-apply-f, the HPA YAML file. Beautiful! We now have an HPA that won't scale the deployment down too quickly. This is exactly what the exam grader checks. This is optional, but in case you want to go deeper, you can simulate CPU load like this with this command. Then observe scaling with this command. And that wraps up question 3. We covered how an HPA works, how to configure CPU-based autoscaling, how to apply Kubernetes scaling behavior, and how to patch the HPA with a stabilization window. This question is very likely to show up in the CKA exam. And now you know exactly how to knock it out fast, clean, and confidently. In our next video, we are moving on to question 4, where we'll work with an ingress resource for an echo server. Let's get it. If you want to practice these CKA questions exactly the way I'm doing them in this video series, fast, clean, and exam ready, I've packaged everything for you into one complete zip bundle. Inside the file, you will get all the resources I use throughout this training, fully organized and ready to deploy into any Kubernetes environment. This bundle saves you hours of setup time and lets you focus only on mastering the hands-on exam tasks. Here's exactly what you'll receive when you download it. All 18 CKA scenario YAMLs, full scenario setup script, README for all 18 questions, detailed guide, individual README files, Q1 to Q18, optional add-on, full ingress gateway API migration files, exam PDF, references, your complete CKA scenario practice guidebook, docx plus PDF, bonus Google Doc index file. Who this bundle is for? CKA candidates preparing for exam day, students practicing on Killer Coda, Minikube, or Kind, engineers who want clean Kubernetes lab scenarios, anyone building their own hands-on DevOps portfolio, content creators teaching CKA concepts. Why you should get the bundle? Instead of wasting hours creating YAML files or rebuilding scenarios from scratch, you get everything pre-configured and ready to deploy. This is the exact same setup I use in my videos, the same files I demonstrate with, and the same structure that helped me pass the exam confidently. If you want to follow along one-to-one and practice with zero frustration, this bundle is made for you. You can download the full zip bundle directly from my website. Your support helps me continue creating these tutorials, labs, and exam guides so we can all grow together in this DevOps journey. Start practicing like a real CKA candidate. Get the full setup now and follow along with the next questions.
Let's build the future. One more line of code, one dream at a time. From the cloud to the console, the rhythm flows. Innovation lives where the knowledge grows. Esthytech, your tech journey starts here.